Ngayon, di, paano nagbago yung buhay mo? Like, overall life, now that you're a mom.
I was actually so depressed when I gave birth. Honestly, I didn't want to have a baby. So I remember that time talaga I felt na I was so unhappy. Ako may dahilan kung ba't pumasok to sa mundo, so I have to make sure he's also well taken care of. It's not his fault na accident siya, diba?
Yeah. What is your message
for baby Jake? Baby Jake, oh my God. Grabe naman yan.
Di ko nilagay ito nung hinihingi mo yung
Baby Jake. Mama's not perfect. And, oh my God, di ko naman, nabulat ako dito.
Sorry.
I celebrate you. Your mind and beauty. I celebrate you. Your life and story. I celebrate you. You'll always be the queen of my heart. I celebrate you. Your wisdom guides me. I celebrate you. Your courage drives me. I celebrate you. Your strength inspires me. Every day is Mother's Day. I love my mother. I love my mother. And she's my mother. Every day is Mother's Day. I love my mother. Oh yeah, yeah. My mother. Oh, she's my mother. Every day is Mother's Day.
She joined Ever Bilena, the leading local cosmetic company in the Philippines, in the year 2014, and now the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer of this company. She is one of the people behind Ever Bilena, Hello Glow, Spotlight, Careline, to name a few. The Chief Marketer with a heart. Our next guest is a young entrepreneur who comes from a very wealthy family, but continuously making a name for herself. My good friend, Miss Denice Sy. Hi! Di, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oo nga, sobrang excited ako. Di, so yun nga, alam ko naman, isa ka sa mga nag-abang sa episode namin, sa pilot episode namin. So yun, Di, how are you? How are you now?
How am I now? Well, I think that's a loaded question if I think about all the roles in my life. Pero for me, I guess how I am now, fine and happy and very fulfilled with where I am in my life right now.
Okay, we will start with, syempre dun tayo sa business side.
Yes.
Actually, naging friends kami, nanonood kami ng Blackwater
PBA.
sa PBA. Yan, kasi nga, since naging friends sila ni Mommy, tsaka si Ynna talaga yung sister ko, yung naging close kay Denise. Doon kami nag-start, in-invite niya kami manood ng PBA games, mag-support sa Blackwater, isa rin sa mga company ng Ever Bilena.
Yeah.
So, ganun lang nag-start, and then eventually, ayun, naging family na kami. So, Di, alam mo, ever since, ang ano ko is, sobrang bilib ko sa'yo. Sabi ko nga, you come from a wealthy family. Yung buhay mo, sobrang inspiring because we know that you are wealthy, but you are also making a name for yourself. So, when did you start sa Ever Bilena? When did you start working?
Well,
Yes.
I guess I go back to how I was raised by my dad. Because my dad and mom separated. Tapos I ended up staying with my dad when I was 9 years old and onwards. Tapos how he raised us was really, sabi niya, not just because you have money, you should be spending it. And he also told us how difficult it was for him when he started.
Yeah.
So I know how hard it is to start something from scratch. I know how hard it is to make a living. So he would always tell me, tignan mo yung mga nasa paligid mo. Are their lives better? Parang, before you splurge on yourself, look at how you're making other people's lives better.
Yes.
So that's also actually the reason why I came back. So I went to the US in 2010. I studied there. I studied in UC Berkeley and graduated 2014.
Yes.
Tapos my dad went to the US and asked me to come home. Kasi I had job offers there na which is nasa taas yung sweldo doon, ha?
Yeah,
so, even sa sweldo ko ngayon, nasa taas din sweldo ko doon. Pero my dad was telling me, think of all the people who rely on Ever Bilena. You know, he started the company in 1983. Ever Bilena celebrated 40 years in the business this year. And he said, every time we're able to enjoy our life is because we have employees who also gave back to the company. And so sabi niya, he's getting older. If no one comes back who can help him, you know, continue his legacy. And he loves Ever Bilena so much. He says it's his wife talaga. Kasi nga, you know, my dad, so So parang for him, si Ever Bilena yung pinaka nagtagal na sa kanya na
Yun yung
girl.
talagang girl
So
niya.
yun daw talaga yung wife niya. So sabi niya, he wants Ever Bilena to have like a legacy talaga. And so when I came back, 2014, I saw na we didn't have social media. Yung mga pinipilit namin campaigns, parang hindi ko maintindihan. Sabi ko, that's not relevant anymore. That time, millennials talaga yung market. So I think it fit me because I was a millennial. You know, I was a fresh grad millennial.
Parang the timing was perfect.
Yeah. Pero syempre, di ako nagmamarunong. I am a fresh grad. So I started from scratch. I worked in sales. I handled a chain of convenience stores, eventually handled supermarkets, then until I handled the drugstores, Watsons, Dep stores. So, unti-unti naman. But throughout the time that I was handling all the key accounts that I was managing, I would see, parang for example, nagpa-promo tong brand, bakit tayo wala tayong promo?
Yeah.
Or I would say, you know, there's so many new products, bakit tayo di tayo nag-innovate? And that time, my dad was actually handling new product development pa.
Yes,
and how
yes.
my dad chose new products isn't as scientific as we do now. It's not. Sa amin kasi ngayon, when we do product development and innovation, we look at the market, we look at the positioning, we look at the campaign and the stories we want to tell. So that time, parang wala pa masyadong stories. So over time, that's how we slowly incorporated all the new product insights. So I would say, Dad, why don't we tweak it this way?
Yeah.
Why don't we do it this way?
Kailangan ng vision naman ng
youth,
millennials,
yeah.
ng youth, because quick background lang din. Ever Bilena is actually sinimulan yan 2 lalaki. So yun, quick background lang din sa story ng Ever Bilena para malaman nila kung how did Ever Bilena start and where you are right now.
Yeah, and so from there, I think now the core market now, diba, syempre is Gen Zs. And so we see how important it is to really connect with them, to communicate with them. And that's why a lot of our efforts now is really storytelling. And I think, you know, the insights from me when I was a fresh grad until now that we have like a whole team of, you know, fresh a lot of also fresh people. That's why when you're saying, are you like one of the few people behind the brands, I always want to say I'm one of the people because we count on so many competent teams, so many passionate people who help bring Ever Bilena to life now. And I think, you know, it's not easy to last 40 years and still be relevant. Ang sabi ko nga, Dad, yung mga nakasama mong brands dati nawala na. So we can't be complacent. We have to keep working hard. And syempre as a mom also, you know, we haven't touched that topic yet. But for me, parang I always also think of his future na parang I want na when JD grows up, he sees the legacy also that I left behind. I'm always working hard and always work hard as a good person as well. Kasi I want my son to know na it's not just about, you know, being a successful leader or businessman. At the end of the day, it's how you are as a human being and how you touch people's lives.
Speaking of touching people's life, Denice, mas close ka sa mga kapatid ko. Pero yun nga, nung naging mama ko, you also became one of my inspirations. So, bago tayo pumunta dun ako sa, napangalan ka as a chief marketer with a heart.
Di ko alam kung saan nanggaling yun eh.
Nakita ko yun, and I think it was actually the perfect title for you. Not just with Ever Bilena, how you guys are running the company. I see it in your family also, yung heart na meron kayo. Paano mo na-desisyonan na i-sacrifice your dream life? You sacrifice that for your dad and for the company. How did you reach that point?
I think it's a lot of thinking of your purpose. Actually, I don't even know why, diba? I was thinking...
Bigla mo na-realize, oo nga no, kung hindi mo tinanong.
Oo nga, I was thinking, bakit nga ba nabudol ako ni Daddy? Pero you know, when I started working with Ever Bilena, syempre I started in sales nga, diba? I work with a lot of the key account specialists, the coordinators. So basically, the people who are visiting the beauty consultants, I hear about their lives. So parang, sometimes when I think about how they have to commute pa, diba? And you know, some people, syempre, they struggle more with managing yung expenses nila. Parang I feel like, who am I not to work hard when I have all the privileges in this life? So, when I think of the hard work and the sacrifices also that people gave the company, parang, for us, my dad was telling me na when he started Ever Bilena, it was so that he could make a living. And now it's a source of livelihood to so many people. We have 1,800 employees now.
Wow.
And we have more beauty consultants now than pre-pandemic. And so when I think of all the lives that are relying on Ever Bilena, we can't make mistakes. So when we make mistakes, syempre may mga reasonable risk naman, yung mga calculated risk. Pero in general, parang we have to, you know, be aggressive as a company kasi ang daming new brands now. But at the same time, we have to take care of the well-being of the employees kasi we can't afford to squander the financial capacity of the company kasi that will affect so many lives. And so I'm always thinking about that na every decision I make impact not just me, not just my son, not just my family, but also so many lives that count on the company. And so when I think about all these things and think about the blessings God gave me, na I don't need to worry about what I'm gonna eat. I can book Grab anytime, diba? I can order my coffee. Some people nagtitipid sa ng meals nila kasi they need it for the baon of their children. So when I think about all of these things, I have no reason to complain. And so I only always focus on what I can do to make the company better.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Wala na ako nasabi. Sorry. Pati ako na. Thank you for sharing that. Going there, I also admire the relationship that you have with your father. Oh my gosh, naiiyak ako. Father. Parang nung namatay kasi si Dad, dun kami naging close sa'yo. And we saw how yung relationship that you have with your father. So being a daughter, yun nga, the sacrifices that you have made. It's hard to work together,
Yeah, it's very hard,
lalo na when
actually.
it comes to family.
Yes.
So, nakakabilib kung paano kayo magtrabaho pareho. You know, the boundaries, the respect of a daughter and also as an employee.
I think you are correct. It's very difficult. And I'm not gonna lie, we do fight a lot, syempre. Lalo na when it comes to conflicting visions and strategies. Kasi syempre, siya is coming from the boomer generation, tapos I'm millennial. And now I'm even adjusting kasi syempre Gen Z communications na tayo ngayon.
Nag-adjust din tayo kasi
millennial tayo. So nag-adjust din ako. So sabi ko, I need fresh Gen Z blood. So we have a lot na. Actually, 25% of our workforce is Gen Z na. 50% is millennial. Si Daddy, 6 na lang sila. So, 6 na lang sa company. So, we were saying, oh, Dad, sabi niya, ay, laos na ako.
Dapat enjoy na si Tito. It's your turn.
Pero naman, I think, when I was growing up, my dad was always very harsh on me. It's very hard. I remember I was always afraid not to make mistakes kasi he was always mad at me, parang for small things. Pero, even when he was harsh, I always knew in my heart na he had something better for me, na he was expecting
for
better
your
for me.
own good.
For my own
ganun,
good.
Yeah.
So, sometimes when he's harsh, I would get hurt. Syempre, iyak ako when I was a kid. But I'm like, I understand where he's coming from na. Sabihin niya, parang, why are you doing this? In my head, parang, what's me going out lang naman? It's not a big deal. But for him, parang, why are you wasting time on other things when you can be doing these things? I think it has a pro and a con. On one hand, I feel like that one kind of stifled me a bit, but at the same time, it grounded my values. Na it gave me the core values that I hold until today. And so when I went to the US, I felt very free, but I never found myself testing things that were illegal or testing things that were beyond my core values. And I felt na it's because of his upbringing. And so I think making my own mistakes also in the US with my own choices na sometimes feeling ko, ay kapag si Dad dito, di siya papayag na ito ginagawa ko. Pero at the same time, I wanna try it. So I tried different, like I did volunteer work. Kung si Dad yun, minsan sasabihin niya, dapat nag-earn ka ng money. So, dapat nag-rest ka. But that time, on weekends, I would do my volunteer work. And I feel like those all kind of shaped me into the person that I am today. And so, when I went back to the Philippines, I felt like, you know, the relationship with my dad, medyo conflicting pa din sometimes kasi syempre I'm his daughter. So at work, I noticed na he doesn't treat me the same way he treats other managers. Parang sa akin mas harsh pa din. Pero I appreciate very much the trust that he gave me. Because a lot of the decisions now when it comes to our visuals, our imagery, he really entrusts to me. A lot of our negotiations, even with our trade partners, he guides me pa din. Siyempre, he tells me, dapat ganito. But at the end of the day, when I say, baka pwedeng pagbigyan ko ganyan, or baka pwedeng we can incorporate this mileage na lang.
So parang at the end of the day, parang naisip mo, ngayon matanda na, medyo matanda na tayo, di na parang, ngayon naiintindihan natin why they had to be like that. Like, even now, ako, yung parang dati, yung mga iyak ko na, grabe, ang strict ng mommy ko, bawal ako lumabas, bawal ganito. Pero bigla mong ngayon, na mommy na tayo.
Siyempre, you're afraid of your daughter doing the same thing.
Or your own multo. Your own multo. Takot ka sa sarili mong multo, yung saying na yun, natakot ka na baka gawin sa'yo. What?
Interview ko sa'yo naman.
Feeling yes, ikaw dumaan ka. Maging honest tayo dito, yes. Dumaan tayo dyan, mga kabataan natin. Naging wild tayo. So, lahat tayo dumaan dyan. Ngayon, paano nagbago yung buhay mo in terms of work and then, like, overall life, now that you're a mom, now that you're a mother?
Well, actually, the first year, yung pinakamahirap sana was breastfeeding. Kasi I was actually so depressed when I gave birth. Like, honestly, I didn't want to have a baby. Syempre, I was married when I gave birth. Pero, parang I would always say accident baby kasi I didn't plan it.
Yeah, I remember, I'll just share, okay lang ba? Parang yun nga, nung time na nagka-baby kayo, you were married na, kumbaga kasama, alam mong magkakaroon kayo ng baby, but you weren't prepared for it. Because she was, parang doon yung time na sobrang
hard
on high
worker,
na siya sa
work,
Ever Bilena. Lahat nung, yun yung time na magkakasama tayo.
I was 26
Yeah,
I was
26 and so young.
So
yun.
31 na ako ngayon. So, I was 26 when I gave birth. And I remember I was so unhappy. Tapos, when I first gave birth, tapos you know how they were saying that when you're a mom, when you see your child, you'll fall in love. For that time, I felt so guilty also in my heart kasi I didn't feel connected. Tapos, that time pa we already had our yaya or nanny on duty kasi I know I can't do it by myself. So, when I gave birth, she was already at the hospital with me. I mean, parang kaka-breastfeed lang, babalik si baby Jake. Tapos that time pa in my head, parang, shucks, kaka-breastfeed lang na to, tapos pagod na pagod ako. So I was so tired, tapos CS pa ako. So I remember that time talaga, I felt na I was so unhappy. Tapos, I'm thankful kasi JD's dad was really hands-on naman with baby Jake. So I think that's where parents really work together for the baby. Pero a little bit after that, parang when I started seeing baby Jake grow so chubby, tapos parang he was smiling, parang I started feeling...
It took time for you to like...
Mga after 1 month. Kasi the first couple weeks, kasi also, diba, the babies aren't so cute naman agad. I mean,
mukhang itlog
let's be honest, diba? Parang dati sabi ko, baby ko na to, di siya cute. Parang cute siya, pero alam mo yung na-imagine ko yung baby Jake at 3 months old, yung sobrang cute. Pero when they're first born, they're so red. Payat pa, tapos yung fingers nila, parang sabi ko, baby na to. Tapos I was so worried also kasi I'm in charge of this. Like, so, shucks, di ako pwede mag-inarte kasi ako may dahilan kung ba't pumasok to sa mundo. So I have to make sure he's also well taken care of. It's not his fault na accident siya, diba? Over time, parang shucks, you know, baby Jake turned out to be one of the best things that happened to my life. Kasi actually, it's the best thing that happened to my life. Kasi, a few months later, nakita ko, bilog na bilog, cute. But I think beyond cuteness, now he's 4. He's so madaldal. Ang ingay niya. Tapos sabi like, JD, di ka natatapos. Parang, and then, he makes...
Saan kaya nagmana?
Ang dami bang... And it's so funny. As in last week lang, I was talking to him. And this is me judging him. Kasi I was talking to him. May sipon kasi kami pareho last week. Tapos last week, he was telling me, Mama, I don't know what you're saying. I'm bingi. And sabi ko, grabe na to sumagot in my head. Pero sabi ko, JD, what are you saying? I'm bingi. Tapos later, he said, Mama, my ears are ow, it's painful. Tapos sabi ko, so we had a checkup the next day, may infection pala kasi he was sneezing and then the mucus went to his ears pala.
So he's really bingi.
Tapos sabi ko, you're really bingi pala, I'm so sorry. Sabi ko, I was judging you the whole time. Sabi ko, sasagot mo ako, di pala. So, sabi ko, that's me correcting myself na thinking of him not in the most innocent way. Pero, babies are so smart. So, I know that, like, si baby Zaffy, a few months later, when they start talking,
I'm so scared.
My gosh, ang daldal. So, I feel like it brings me so much joy. And I think, my relationship also with baby Jake's dad, because, not baby na pala, sabi niya, I'm not baby. I'm Jake, I'm not JD.
Jake.
After work now, I really go home immediately after work. Sometimes I work at home pa din. Most of the time, I work at home pa din. But I feel like, when he's next to me, at least we're present together at home. Tapos, he starts school now, so he has to sleep by 9. So, minsan, I spend time with him when I go home around 6:30. I spend the whole evening with him until he goes to sleep at 9. Then I go back to work. I remember before, I would just stay at office till 9 or later. Ngayon, I really come home early for JD because I want to make sure he grows up knowing that he's loved.
Yeah. So, speaking of, what is your message for
baby Jake? Baby Jake, oh my God. Grabe naman yan.
Di ko nilagay ito nung hiningi mo yung lista.
Baby Jake. Mama's not perfect. And, oh my God, nabulat ako dito. Mama's not perfect. Mama will make a lot of mistakes. But at the end of the day, it will always be what I want best for you. I will always want you to live a happy life, but I also want you to grow up responsible accountable, kind, and have heart for other people. So if sometimes mama becomes a hypocrite, if sometimes mama makes mistakes that contradicts what I teach, I hope you understand that mama's only human. But at the end of the day, it's really just me wanting you to feel full and loved. I don't want you to feel ever that there's anything lacking in you. Whatever people may say about you or me or anyone else, you know, I want you to grow up knowing that other people's opinions don't matter, for as long as in your heart you know that you're a good person, you know that God loves you, you know that you're complete and your self-esteem and your confidence intact. That for me is already the biggest gift to see you grow up that way.
Thank you for sharing that kasi hindi ko alam na ganun yung pinagdaanan mo nung mga first few years. Nung nanganak si Dee, kami talaga yung few people na talagang pupunta sa bahay nila to visit them.
Baby
and
J.
we never felt that.
Yeah.
That's why, grabe, you were so strong. You were so brave. And I know that your story will inspire others also, the way you inspired me personally. So thank you. What advice can you share to our mothers and
Other
our
moms?
viewers?
I think, you know, being a mom is not easy. And as a mom for 4 years now, I do recognize that so many moms and other people tend to give their opinions about how you raise your children. At the end of the day, again, I keep saying that because it's, you know, it's really important for us to realize and recognize that we're the moms of our children and you would know best. Whatever it is that you may feel doubtful towards, you can always pray about it, consult others. But, you know, it's still our decision. And, you know, honestly, when your kid grows a bit older, like Jake's 4 now, I even ask him questions and he's very responsive. So it's nice to also get insights from your own kids to see what they like, what they think. And it doesn't hurt to incorporate that if it doesn't hurt them as well either anyway, right? So my message is really to do you, to love yourself, because a full mom who loves herself can give more love to your kids. And so that's how I also strengthen myself with my love for myself and also JD's love for me.
Grabe, hindi niya in-expect umiyak today.
Oh my gosh.
Kasi sobrang, alam mo yung careful talaga siya na I wanna know the question.
Grabe siya.
Sabi ko, yeah, I will naman. Thank you, Dee.
Thank you for having me.
Sobrang na-appreciate kita. Thank you for your
Yeah.
time. Gusto ko lang sabihin na sobrang perfect yun nga, yung chief marketer with a heart. You are one of the few people here in our industry that is so pure and nice. Pagkatao mo. So, thank you.
Thank you for
and
thinking
we love
that
you
way
so
of me.
much.
Thank
And we
you.
will always support you.
Love you, thank you.
Ever Bilena, Spotlight, lahat mo. We will always be here for you and
Thank
your
you.
family. Saan mo sila gustong, invite mo sila or anong mga gusto mo i-promote?
I-promote?
Or i-announce?
Grabe.
Yan.
Follow me. Na joke lang.
Yes,
Well,
go.
my Instagram handle is @Denice Sy. But beyond that, I hope that you can support our company and our products. So Ever Bilena Cosmetics Inc. is actually the umbrella company behind a lot of your favorite brands that are available in Watson's, SM Beauty Depth Store, Robinson's, and all other leading retail stores and supermarkets. So under Ever Bilena Cosmetics Inc.'s umbrella is Ever Bilena, Careline, Blackwater, Hello Glow, Ever Organics, Hailu, and Spotlight. So it was actually only during the pandemic that we grew the brand
Wow,
portfolio.
yes.
And we're happy to see all of our brands growing. So we hope you can continue to support us. Thank you.
Before we end the show, we would like to thank our following sponsors for today. Purple Walk for our food, Makeup by Chardy for our hair and makeup, 1920 by Studio Manila for our studio, My Production Team, AAA Digital, and of course, Studio Manila. At syempre, for our guest giveaways, maraming salamat sa aming sponsor, Spotlight Cosmetics. Thank you, Dee. Thank you, Spotlight. At maraming salamat po sa lahat ng sponsors na nakasama namin sa episode namin today. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And this has been Behind the Scenes with Ynna.
You and so I celebrate you. Your mind and beauty. Celebrate you. Your life and story. Celebrate you. You'll always be the queen of my heart. I celebrate you. Your wisdom guides me. Celebrate you. Your courage drives me. Celebrate you. Your strength inspires me. It's my